Hey there, I'm Bear. So, some time ago I made a video called Optimization. Um, it was a video where I talked about why I dislike the term optimization thrown around, and also I made a commentary on a review of some MacBook Pro that could, I don't know, fucking play Overwatch at 70 FPS, I don't fucking care. And since then I haven't really encountered anything but igniting. And there's this group of YouTubers that includes MaxTech and Luke Miani, and they also use the word optimization really often, and they also review Apple products. And sometimes the use of the word by them was stupid, but at least they weren't saying that graphical artifacting is a lack of optimization. And so everything was fine until recently I found this one video. So yeah, let's watch it, I guess.
And now let's run our first CPU test. We're using the latest version of Geekbench 5 that has been now updated. And as you guys can see right here, our maximum frequency is 4.4 gigahertz, at least what Geekbench is saying, compared to 3.2. We both are actually 8-core processors, but the AMD has 8 high-performance cores compared to 4 power-efficient and then 4 performance cores. And now let's really push these machines to their limits using Cinebench R20, which is gonna max out the CPUs and give us our total raw performance. Let's go ahead and hit run. It's gonna be a 10-minute stress test. Right away, the CPU spiked to 4.3 gigahertz, but now it's down to about 4 gigahertz. That's interesting.
Feature editing Bear here. While I was writing all these captions, I actually understood that they are more interesting than me talking, so yeah. But I'm persistent, so I'm going to finish my original vision for the project, yay. So, okay, that's where the part I had a major problem with came in, and then later I started looking into it deeper, and yeah, this video was kind of full of shit for the amount of technical details it had. So let's watch this segment.
And now let's talk about gaming. I am gonna run a test here using GFX Bench, the same exact benchmark. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit start here. And gaming is where a Windows system is going to come ahead. If you care about gaming, you have all games available. The scores are in, and honestly, I was expecting a bigger difference. We have 81 frames per second on the Mac and 119.8 on the G14. Now, that is obviously a big difference, 47% higher frames per second, so it is significant. But if we take a look at the Metal test in Geekbench 5, and Metal and then the CUDA test, the G14 was about 350% faster instead of 47. So I think for certain graphics, things like this for gaming, the Metal is just so optimized with that graphics chip, which is designed to work together really well.
Now, I hope you saw what is wrong with this comparison, but let me start by saying something obvious. Compute does not equal FPS, okay? It's like saying that because your CPU has, I don't know, 16 arithmetic logic units and that other CPU has 12, that means that sure has to give more FPS in a game. No. There are graphic cores and CUDA cores in NVIDIA GPU. Graphic cores in 20 series and onward are a streaming multiprocessor, and RT core with some ray intersection stuff, some memory stuff, and a batch of 4 batches of CUDA cores and RT cores. CUDA cores are just floating point units, and from Turing onward they're also in 32 units. And they also have some memory stuff. I'll throw a picture here on the screen. So when you say that your GPU has 10,000 CUDA cores, it's likely that it has slightly less, like, I don't know, how much less? Like 128 times less, because 128 CUDA cores are in a fucking core for NVIDIA GPUs. But yeah, I guess that's not obvious enough, I guess. Okay, let's continue. There's some other minor nitpicks I have for this video, and maybe we'll watch another one as well.
But of course, let's jump into some other real-world tests, and we'll see what difference we get. Let's jump into photo editing. I have Lightroom Classic opened up on both with the same exact library and files here. And one thing I have to note is that Lightroom Classic is not optimized for Apple chips. It's x86 optimized.
That's what I meant when I said Luke Miani also uses the word stupidly sometimes. So yeah, please, developers of Mac apps, for the love of God and my sanity, can you please recompile your app to work on ARM natively? Because I am tired of hearing these people saying that they lack optimization for Mac because they're not even ported yet. If it was ported and used, for example, M1's neural engine to process something faster based on machine learning algorithms and stuff, then yeah, I mean, that would be optimization, because it would take advantage of a feature accessible only to that specific platform. Not everyone has an RTX GPU in their PC, obviously. So, I mean, not everyone has access to a neural model.
The last couple, the Mac is actually slightly faster at changing, which I didn't expect. We're 45 seconds in, and this is interesting. The Mac is quite a bit ahead on the export than the AMD, and we are in the turbo mode. We're plugged in. I was not expecting this, especially because this application is designed for x86 for the AMD and Intel processors. All right, wow, the M1 Mac is done. I actually heard the fans spinning up there towards the end. So this is really pushing the machine to its limits. It's using both the CPU, maxing it out, and it's using graphics as well, which is why I was expecting the AMD system to smoke it in this test.
Oh my god, there is so much wrong with this goddamn clip. So first of all, I really don't see how you're surprised at the fact that processor that has the best single core performance out there right now dominates another processor. Like seriously, just Google it up. Photo editing is a presumably single core task, and the M1 has, you know, literally really wide registers. And you know, this guy literally said that it's the best for web browsing because of its single core performance. Like, what the fuck?
As far as the single core, we have 1218 compared to 1730. That is 42% higher single core performance, and maybe that's why we're getting much snappier web browsing and simple tasks.
And second of all, GPU acceleration in Lightroom, as far as I understand, doesn't even apply to effects, or at least most of them. So graphics acceleration, like, really, okay, maybe there are one or two effects on your image that are GPU accelerated, but everything literally else is done on the CPU. So if your CPU is inferior to another, most likely even the graphics won't save you, because CPU will be the bottleneck, as we all like to say.
All right, it is done. The G14 took 3 minutes and 14 seconds compared to 2 minutes and 38 seconds for the M1 Mac. 23% faster, which is mind-blowing because it did so not silently, but much quietly. It did it on battery power, and this application is not optimized yet for the Apple Silicon processor. And now let's get into video editing. I am using DaVinci Resolve here, not Premiere or Final Cut. Premiere is slower on both the AMD system and the Mac. Obviously Final Cut is quick, but it's Mac only. So we're gonna be starting out with stabilizing a 4K clip. Now the graphics card in here, the NVIDIA, should be really well used with CUDA. It is flying along. We're at 50% compared to 20 here. Bam, it got done. The G14 took only 16 seconds. The M1 Mac took 39 seconds, so more than twice as long. Let's go ahead and open up a standard 4K project. This is a full 4K timeline here. We have 2 LUTs applied, we have film grain applied, and in the past with the previous Intel-based Macro Pros, it would be a stuttery mess. It would not play back at all. Now it's playing back perfectly smoothly. Of course, with the 2060 is also playing back perfectly smoothly. Now I also want to go ahead and unplug the system, it's going to switch over to performance mode instead of turbo mode. The fans slow down, and now our graphics card is maxed out. And it looks like, you guys see all the stuttering here, on battery power, it is no longer able to play this back. You guys can see this is about 5-7 frames per second instead of 30. And that's interesting because the CUDA score unplugged is actually higher than the M1. Maybe it's just optimization or efficiency.
Oh my god, for fuck's sake. So first of all, I thought it's weird that this thing started to stutter at first, but then I remembered that that's a 4K video that's being played on an x86 laptop, so yeah, I guess the video card just lacks power to decode video. Now, it's weird that, you know, he knows like about CUDA, which I'm sure not many people know about CUDA, but at the same time he thinks that CUDA affects gaming performance and that somehow CUDA is involved in decoding video. Like what? Oh my god.
And the beauty with this NVIDIA graphics card is that we can go ahead and switch over from CPU encoding or AMD, which isn't that good, to the NVIDIA. And the new RTX graphics cards have very good and very fast encoders.
In conclusion, I don't think MaxTech is an incompetent YouTuber, but it's just weird to me how no one calls out all of the, you know, those little errors that, while seeming significant, took me like 10 minutes to get over with. So, and yeah, there was still errors, so yeah, I mean, their other videos are quite okay, in my opinion, but this specific one, it really struck the wrong, you know, nerve. So yeah.